Let me just start by saying welcome to the Gateway Division and welcome to the Big Sky Division. It's really great to run a meeting like this. Sorry, I missed the comma after June 8th, but it's June 8th, and we are in officially what is typically the second biggest month of the year. Right upon us is July, which is typically the biggest month of the year. The Central Region just eclipsed our second biggest May ever as a region that I've been running, and we're really excited about what's happening right now in the start of the month of June. And I wanted to start by acknowledging and recognizing who some of our leadership is. So this would be, if we were at a live meeting, I would pull them up to the stage, but you can just imagine, you can stand up if I call your name. I think that'd be great. If you don't mind, if it's a little awkward to stand where your camera's positioned, maybe don't stand up. But I wanted to start with the St. Louis office. We've got Esperanza Aguilar. I remember meeting Esperanza a number of years ago. She was a really great fast starter. You're going to hear from her later. She's a great assistant manager, really just a good human. I had a chance to meet her parents, super great people. There's Nick Johnson, which is one of the hardest workers we've had the chance to work with. Nick, your legend, goes well beyond the Gateway Division. Matthew Allen, he's been a absolute stalwart in terms of sales this last campaign. And Matt, we're really excited for what your future holds. Gerald Locke also has been someone who we're really excited to partner with in our region. He really helps a lot of the conferences really move smoother, and you've done a great job in St. Louis also. And I believe Cameron Tosh also. I don't know that we've had the good chance to really interact a whole lot, Cameron, but hear great things about all of you from Mike King. Next up, we've got the St. Louis South office, Allison Broadhurst. Allison, we're super excited. I remember meeting Allison. I think it was right after her $10,000 fast start. You're going to hear from Allison a little bit later, and then just kind of kept moving all the way through the summer. Great personality and someone who's really dynamic that you're going to learn some tips from the demo. Jack Kensinger, by the way, I think that Jack, I remember talking to Nate earlier this summer about how much of an impact you've made on the office. And St. Louis South is off to a great start this year. In Ozark Mountains, we've got a sales manager in Aaron Grice. So Aaron, it's great to see you. I worked with Aaron a number of years ago. We got Teddy Heil. Teddy is one of the most talented people I've ever had the chance to work with. I want to say he sold like 50,000 plus his first summer selling Cutco and was just a phenom. I remember meeting him the very first time. He was 18, and he just had the demeanor and personality as someone who is much older than that in terms of his maturity and how he carried himself. And we've also got Chase Sander. I've heard great things again about all of you from Andrew Biggs, and you're going to hear from Andrew a little bit later today. We've also got the Northern Rockies assistant managers. We've got Zane and Jake. And again, I haven't had the chance to really know you that well. We've kind of had some interactions over the course of time, but Wyatt also says some great things about you. Wyatt's the Northern Rockies is off to a great start as well. In the Boise office, we've got Amanda Mallory, and Charlie's just came off of a record year in his career. They're doing great things right now in Boise as well. Cape Girardeau, sorry I didn't underline that one. I'm just noticing all my grammatical errors here. Sorry about that. But we've been pretty busy. And in Cape Girardeau, I believe I have it right. We've got JT and Timmy. And Cape Girardeau is off to just an absolutely scorching start so far. And none of this is possible without assistant managers. I remember being an assistant manager. I was an assistant manager back in 1993. So Nate, I had to give you perspective. I started in 1992. This is my 29th year working with our company. It'll officially be that in July. But, nothing happens without the assistant managers. I just want to really acknowledge all of you. And then St. Charles County, we've got Riley and Dom. And look, I'll tell you what, St. Charles County, you're the talk of the town. And when I say the town, I mean the United States of America, the #2 office, 2 weeks in a row, and the new district offices. And we also have the Quincy. I can't see it on my screen, but I printed it out. We've got great things happening in Quincy with Kelsey, Margaret, Matthew, Stephen, and Liam. So really, I just want to say thank you very much to the assistant manager team. What I can tell you about the Gateway division specifically, you're up in sales by one of the largest margins of any division in our region for this summer. And that is really great to see, because last summer was the largest and most record-breaking summer that just shattered every record that we had. And Gateway is beating that right now, and we're really excited about that. In Northern Rockies, we had a bit of a change in leadership, so we're not beating last year so far, but pound for pound, they're beating the results. And I will tell you right now, this division meeting is probably one of the most exciting division meetings, not in terms of energy, but in terms of results anywhere in the company right now. And I want to say it is in large part due to the assistant manager team. Nothing happens, like I said, without the assistant managers. Without assistant managers, it would be like driving a car without a motor, right? You've all seen Fred Flintstone, probably back when you were 5 years old. It would be the district manager kind of running with their feet through things. It would not work. The assistant managers, you get the least recognition and you're working just as hard as anyone else, but you're really preparing for next year. And when I think about ex-assistant managers, I'm going to talk about some people right now. I think about people like Casey Cooper, right? Casey Cooper was a sales rep, had a $10,000 fast start, and then just kept on moving forward. But because of that start, she was promoted to an assistant manager in the Springfield office. And this is when she was a student at Mizzou. And she really had a huge impact on that office. And then the next year ran a branch office. And then this year she's running her second branch office. So she qualified for a trip to Australia and New Zealand. That is just absolutely amazing. Last summer, Casey Cooper made over $20,000 as a college student managing a group of sales representatives. And we're so fortunate to work with someone like Casey. And Casey was an assistant manager. Henry Volkman was an assistant manager. Henry goes to Missouri S&T. Henry had also, I think, a 12,000 or so fast start. Sold $23,000 in his first 3 weeks, and then just kind of kept plowing forward, earned a scholarship while he was going to school, and was an assistant manager last summer in the St. Louis office, and really helped the success that they're having today, laid the foundation. And Henry, again, is a branch manager right now in Cape Girardeau, and it's no surprise, off to a great start. Then we've got Lucy, who's a graduate of Boise State. She decided to take the route of branch manager that is typically reserved for someone who's in college. But Lucy she's a person of integrity. She said, I'm not sure I want to make the full commitment just yet to work with Vector as the district manager. So let me just try it out as a branch manager. And Lucy's also off to a great start. And if you work with Lucy, you know that she's all about helping others. And we're really excited to have those three individuals running branch offices. We are a small group of division, I'll say. If we were one division, by the way, there's between the two divisions, there are less than 10 offices. There's a division that has 20 offices, and we would have obliterated them this week if we were one combined division. If you could please mute yourself, if you happen to not be on mute, that would really be fantastic. And again, we all know that it's a Zoom world. Do you remember, I'm going to just pause for a second. Do you remember that Zoom video? I was talking to someone last night when someone was on a Zoom call, and like you could tell like the nanny came in the room and she was like chasing after the kids and stuff like that. Anyway, I was thinking about that just the other day. It's funny how the business is right now, so radically different. But I want to thank you for your professionalism. And you might be thinking, wow, this is kind of a long meeting, but it's going to be a really great meeting, mostly because we've got a great group of veteran district managers and new district managers. Let me start with our newest promotee. I'm going to introduce Lindsay a little bit later today. So I'm going to kind of hold some of that. But Lindsay's our manager in the St. Charles County office. Patrick Moore, if you work with Patrick, again, he is the type of person that just simply is a giver. When I think of someone who just is all about helping others and about making the world a better place, I think of Patrick. Patrick, in college, he was in theater, he played football, he was involved in a lot of different things where he really developed his leadership. And that's really what he loves about being a district manager. And then I think about someone like Andrew Biggs. I'm going to introduce Andrew Biggs a little bit later. The quick version of what I'm going to tell you is Andrew had a great start in a career with Vector, and then really took that and did some great things afterwards. In fact, if you want to hear his story, go to the Changing Lives Selling Knives podcast, and you can hear him for an hour. It was a fantastic message. And when I heard him deliver that, he was an alum of Vector. I remember calling him up and saying, Andrew, it's just great to hear how much you've grown as a human, as a leader, and what you're doing. And then the conversation started about, hey, what's Vector like, and how's it, what would it be like? And then bam, he's here. We're so excited to have Andrew working in our division and in our region. He's an outstanding leader, and he's doing some things in a very highly innovative way that are going to pay huge dividends, not only for the office in the Ozark Mountain area, but also for the region and for the country. Next up, we've got Charlie Kulig. For those of you that work with Charlie, outstanding human.
For those of you that work with Charlie, outstanding human.
All right, you can mute yourself. That'd be fantastic.
I can audit all those things if you want to make me a co-host.
I'm in the middle of speaking, so it'll be a little hard to do while I'm doing this. But thank you, I appreciate it. We could do that next time. But Charlie again is I believe he's a graduate of Boise State University. And when I think about Charlie, I think about someone who he's not the type of he's the type of person that, despite his physical challenges that he's had, and I'm not going to elaborate on them, he finds a way. He's got what Angela Duckworth talks about in her book, Grit. He's got grit. Last year, Charlie had an absolute breakout year, and I'm so looking forward to Charlie's continued success as a region manager. I couldn't ask to work with someone like Charlie, who just shows people how to work through and persevere through adversity. I remember meeting Wyatt Nielsen. I was going to Park City to go skiing, and I talked to the local manager in Salt Lake City. I said, "Hey, who's a sharp person that I can get some time with that can maybe drive me from Salt Lake to Park City?" It was a 30-minute ride, and I remember talking to him, and I remember saying, "Man, this is a guy that's going to do things." He had this self-confidence that was absolutely palpable. And now he's running an office in the Northern Rockies. And as a new manager this last year, he was one of the top new managers in the entire company. And he really put Montana on the map of Vector in terms of the sales success. We've never seen a success like that. You're going to hear from Wyatt a little bit later. Again, I'm going to share with you some of his accolades. Next up, some of you were trained by Nate Johnson, so he's just a fun person to be around. And again, I'm going to introduce Nate a little bit later, but for those of you that work with Nate, he's just about creating champions. The number of people that Nate has worked with on this page alone: Mike King, he trained; Lindsey Paulnow, he trained. He was also working with Patrick Moore. He's just a great developer of people and of talent. And when I think about Nate, I think about he's like the quintessential person from Iowa. He's all about helping others, being a good human. And then I think about what he's done with his career at Vector. He did not have the greatest start as a manager, but again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And you're going to hear a little bit more from Nate a little bit later today. And we've got also Mike King, who's running the St. Louis office right now. One of the top offices in the country. In fact, this last week was in the top 20 offices in the country. Again, many people on this slide have finished in the top 20 in the company, top 10 in the company multiple times. So we've got a really, you're going to hear from Mike a little bit later. We've got an absolutely exciting and dynamic group of leaders and managers that I would say that if my kids, I have a 10 and 12-year-old, if they were selling Cutco, I would feel very comfortable with any of them working with any of the managers that you've got, because they're good people. They care about people also, which I think the two kind of go hand in hand, but not always. But the most important thing for you as it relates to you is they're great at selling Cutco and teaching people how to sell Cutco. So there's a great agenda that we've got today. Why are we here? There's really three reasons why we're here. Number one is to educate you. I wish, this is from the movie The Matrix. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, we could stick the thing in the back of your head and you could learn how to fly a helicopter and sell Cutco. I think that'd be really cool to fly a helicopter as an aside, but I wish we could do that for you, but we can't, right? What your managers know about selling Cutco versus what they've taught you, it's probably like 2 or 3%. You might know 5% now. There's about 95% more that they can teach you, and we're going to teach you some of that today. That's why we have extra meetings. I remember being a new representative, and my mom, she just didn't get it. She didn't understand the job, because at most jobs, when I was a caddy, what do? You carry a bag, you hand someone, a golf club, and you say, "There's your ball," right? Everyone knows what a caddy is. Not many people have ever sold cutlery. So I just want you to think about that. Not many people are experts at selling cutlery, and that's why we have different meetings that are designed to help you get better at your job. Now, the good news, if you get better at your job, you make more money while you're at Vector, right? And you're going to see some people later on today who, in 10 days went from earning 10% to earning 30% and even 35%. So in other words, that'd be like having a job where you're making $10 an hour to then 10 days later, you're making $30 an hour, right? Because you learned your job better. And that's what I want you to recognize is the job, you want to learn as much as you can. You want to be a Vector geek. It'll pay you really well. Second objective is to recognize you. Yes, this is a photo of me. You can obviously tell the resemblance. That was me New Year's Eve. Just kidding. By the way, obviously that's Leo. We all love. All right. But it's my way of saying thank you. You're awesome. I sold $0 of Cutco this week, but our region was absolutely, again, like I said, in the month of May, we had our second best May ever as in my 8-year career now as a region manager just this last month. And I'm expecting huge things, not only in June, but in July, but in this division. Again, I'm going to call it a division because it's really, I work with them all together. There's just some absolutely great things happening, and you're all doing it. And we're going to recognize you for that. And then the third thing that I want to do is I want you to be really inspired when you leave this meeting. So some of you, you might get on the phone right after this meeting. I remember attending my first division meeting, and it was like an hour and a half drive. So I live in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. I actually live in Evanston, but I grew up in Chicago, and the meeting was in Naperville, which basically is like the equivalent of like Iowa, right? It was like an hour and a half drive. I remember, again, this was pre-cell phone, pre-internet. It was 1992 when I started selling Cutco. So I got really excited at the conference to get in my car and drive an hour home. By the time I got home, I was exhausted. I was like, all right, I'm going to make phone calls tomorrow. You will be able to make phone calls like right after this meeting. You'll be able to maybe even get a demo booked right after this meeting. What I got to tell you is if you ever get a demo after 9 p.m., I can almost assure you they are buying because they don't have any distractions. They're teenagers, they're gone. They're little kids, they're asleep. Maybe they had a glass of wine, they're feeling good, and they're going to place an order for Cutco. In fact, raise your hand if you've done a demo after 9 p.m. Go ahead and raise your hand if you've done a demo after 9 p.m. and keep your hand up if you made a sale after the 9 p.m. Or at the 9 p.m. demo or beyond that was above $500. Right? Throw in the chat what you sold on that demo. I'm going to tell you what, those demos are gold. So don't be afraid to say, hey, you know what? Can I, when you call them, hey, can I stop by right now? Or not even stop by. Can I do a demo for you right now? Instant appointments. That's where it's at. So what are we going to cover tonight? We're going to cover the opening comments. I've got a few more bits of, I'm almost done with the opening comments. We're going to go through the summer fast start results. There you go. That's my alarm to let us know that we're done with this part. Summer fast start results. Then you're going to hear about helping customers make good decisions, i.e. place big fat orders for Cutco. And there's never been a better time to sell Cutco. People are spending more money than ever because they've got COVID cash is kind of the best way of describing it. Vacations were canceled over the last year. People are doing so much to their home, and we are selling a tremendous amount. We're going to help you expand your names list. That to me is the number one thing that you should do every day. You're going to hear some tips from the pros about building rapport and about the demo and about 5 a days the champion way from our expert assistant manager staff. Then you're going to hear about what's next and the vector opportunity, and then bam, we're done. It's going to be a quick meeting, but you're going to get a ton of information. So I want to find out, let me just share one last point with you before we find out who sold some Cutco. All right. People ask me often, why have you chosen to stay with Vector for as long as you have? And when I think about why I've chosen, because the job forced me to grow. It forced me to grow as a representative in many ways. It helped me develop my communication skills. It helped me develop great listening skills. It helped me manage adversity and my own emotions. It helped me push through and have initiative. It also helped me networking. Look, I didn't know I was going to have a career with Vector, but I remember meeting people from all walks of life, and it was so great to have that network of individuals. What's really amazing is that some people get their dream job from a Cutco demo. So, by the way, those things that I grew and areas that I grew, I keep growing today. I continue to grow in all of those areas. What can I also share with you? I can share with you there's some really great perks. The environment working here is absolutely amazing. It's an absolutely great group of people to work with. There's advancement opportunities. You know who's going to tell you, who's going to stop you from advancing with our company? Not one single person. And it's a meritocracy. It's not based on seniority. It's not based on politics. It's also merit-based pay, which again, those two things are great things that a lot of people don't have at their job. And you work with a world-class product. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you've run into past Cutco owners. I've run into many over the last 29 years, and every single time they're like, man, those knives are sharp, right? That's number one. And duh, it's a knife. It's supposed to be sharp. That's like saying that car works really well, right? It drives great. Like that's what I want my car to do, right? But also it's a world-class product with a great guarantee, as you all know. And of course, you can have some fun selling Cutco, not only on the demo, but in learning the job. There's a great podcast that I think will help you a lot. By the way, that's me right there, just in case you're wondering. And there's some great people. Just take a screenshot of that one that will help you sell more Cutco. So that I pulled out some people that I thought would help you sell more Cutco. And this is a slide that I put from last year, and Andrew Biggs' name was on that. So I felt I'd keep it there because he's good with like helping you have a great mindset about things.